Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vladimir Putin will land in Israel, Pakistan, India, United States. This has never been asked to me. I would say that I am a perfectionist. I am a hustler. I like to do a lot of things. If I don't have 3 extra things apart from my daily schedule, then I feel that I'm wasting my time.
When was the last time you felt anxious?
See, I'm just like everyone else. I feel anxious all the time. I remember calling my doctor and saying that for the past few months I've not been able to sleep. And she's like, "Bache, Gayatri mantra ka jaap karo raat ko." Tel laga ke so jao.
What is your skincare routine? Do you have one?
I never thought I'd be sitting and doing skincare advice. I think.
What do you have to say to people who equate gender equality with things like if women want equality, then men shouldn't be expected to hold the door for them or carry their bags?
I agree with that. It makes me uncomfortable.
Have you ever been put off when somebody has opened the door for you, or
Nobody has opened the door for me, as it turns out.
who do you think should pay on the first date?
You should go Dutch.
What's your idea of romance?
My idea of... I like people who are witty.
How important do you think is aligning politically with your partner for the success of a relationship?
I think it's important to find a partner, or if you don't find one, then train one who will accept that sometimes we'll go my way, sometimes we'll go your way.
And I can train you.
Always have to train.
So what is the funniest DM you've ever received?
I always marvel at the confidence of men who write to me saying, "I am ready to marry you now." Hello. Thank you very much.
आपके भी कोई ऐसे शौक हैं?
Yes, I love shopping. I love buying jewelry, saris, bags, shoes.
What's your plan with IGR and what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind?
I don't have the oil wells of Al Jazeera or government money of the BBC, but I'm very passionate. I genuinely want to tell India's story to the world. I remember this one time, and I don't want to name the country, but this was a president who was more of a dictator and had these drug cases against him. Before the interview, I tweeted something which was not flattering, and I got a call from my office, and my boss said that.
So, Palki, we've had the chance to sit across so many remarkable women. But I speak for the both of us when I say that this is going to be one of the highlights of our careers. You've made it to the top. You speak brilliantly. You're savage. And if all of that wasn't enough, you're so stylish. So can I just tell you that we are in absolute awe of you.
Thank you so much. You both are so kind and you've been so nice. Thank you for having me on this podcast, and I look forward to the conversation, and I hope I can add meaning for you and your viewers.
No, if you're there, meaning and validation is going to be there. That's
you.
just how it is.
Yeah.
And we are so excited to have you.
So am I.
Excited and nervous, although because sometimes you consume so much of the other person through content and through social media that when you sit across the person you feel little jitters. But in all of what I've consumed of you, I have to probably start citing one of your most savage moments, according to me, because you've had plenty on camera somehow. And I think my personal favorite has to be when you were sitting across the president of France. And you spoke about how, when they asked you that, how many people on average follow you, and you spoke about roughly 150 million viewers, and that's...
Something like that.
Yeah. So just to sort of go back to that moment, was it spontaneous? What was going through in your mind? Because honestly, people like myself, we've loved that moment. We've seen it on loop.
Thank you. So I think people got it wrong. So there was a co-anchor for me who asked me this for their French audience, and it was to him that I said that this is twice the population of France, and not to President Macron, although I suspect I imagine he would take it in his stride because he was very, very generous and open in the conversation. But I think the best replies come just when you least expect them to come. Yeah. And I would say that some of this training is from my parents. In our house, if someone's talking to you very respectfully, then they are being sarcastic.
Oh.
So I think, that's the equation, and it was, I suppose we were programmed to be like that. So some of the things come out, and I don't think they're funny until people point out that this was a roast, or I mean that's not intentional.
Yeah, but oh my god, it was so cool because the way that you said maybe it's your chance to get popular.
That was so savage. I mean, that was one moment I was like, oh my god, this woman is so cool.
Yeah. So, but were you like this when you were younger as well? Like, what were you like when you were in school?
I would say I was shy. I was very shy. But my mother made it a point to ensure my participation in everything. Like, I have 2 left feet, but I've participated in dance competitions. She just pushed me. And so I lost stage fear fairly early. I'm still quite uncomfortable in crowds. If there are more than 5 or 6 people at a gathering, then I just want to sit in a corner and observe, and I know that that's not considered cool or acceptable, but I feel out of my element in a big gathering. But I like talking into the camera. I was always very opinionated. Yeah, so that's what I was like as a child. I had few friends, close friends, but I was not this very social, very outgoing person. Even now I'm not, and thankfully I have a 9 p.m. show, so I can bail out myself of most dinner invitations by saying that, I'm chained to the newsroom, I can't come. That's a good...
So you're shy and yet you have a career that's in front of camera with so many people watching you, and you've delivered speeches, in front of massive crowds. So, you have been in your uncomfortable zone through and through. And like, how does that work? That's like so brave.
And that's one-way communication, right? When you're on the stage, like I said, I am opinionated. I've always expressed myself in writing and in speaking. But I'm not great at small talk is what I meant. I can't sort of insert myself into a conversation and say, hey, look, this is who I am and this is what I do. And it just does not come naturally to me. I see a lot of people who are very good at it and I envy them. I know people who can talk to furniture and do it fabulously. But I can't. But like I said, stage fear is something that I lost very early on. And I also think that once you are very sorted in your head about the point you're making, that's where the confidence flows from. When you have clarity, when you know that this is what I want to say, this is what I want to convey, then it just flows.
Yeah, fair. But were you like the kind of a kid who would bunk classes? Like, were you studious? Were you a topper? What category would you?
Were you the front bencher or the back bencher?
Yeah.
I would love to know.
I was the front bencher. I know it's not cool, and my children give me so much grief about what a boring child I was. But I was the kind of person who would finish homework on time and like be the teacher's pet. And I was a studious child. I liked reading. I was curious. I liked excelling at things. I wanted to compete. So yeah, I suppose that drove me.
So you've never gotten in trouble?
No.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah.
That goes with the personality.
It
that
does?
you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
We
And
would
we are
have been
still friends?
surprised.
Oh, definitely.
Good. That's good
Yeah.
to know.
But if I have to go back and ask you in your own timeline, how did you land your first internship or a first job?
It's interesting. See, even in the very beginning when I had nothing in my hand, I did apply to some places and they asked if I wanted an internship. I was very clear that I will not work for free. So I said, will you pay me? And they said we don't pay. Even now, a lot of places, they don't pay interns. And I think there is merit to the idea that you get experience and you get exposure and you get a certificate. Even if you're just taking printouts and getting people coffee, I think you just soak in the vibe.
Yeah.
But back then I thought that it's unfair if I'm spending my time and effort at a place. So I never did an internship. How did I get my first break, as you could call it? So I was emceeing an event, and there were TV crews there, and one of them walked up to me and said that you speak fairly clearly and you look good on camera, so why don't you come and do an audition for us? And this was some a video news magazine that used to come on Doordarshan. And I said, what's the pay? And they offered a few hundred rupees per episode, and I said, not bad, So that's how it started. And it was very rudimentary. I've spoken about this before. We did not have a teleprompter. It was chaste Hindi. and they used to print out the script in bold letters and hold it right behind,
The
right
camera.
below the camera, and I had to read it. And I used to make such a hash of it because I did not know what. I just thought that if I say everything without a pause, like no fumble, that was the goal of my life at that time. How do I finish the script without a fumble? So yeah, that's how it started. People were very kind and very accommodating. I mean, if those initial bosses and colleagues had been stricter or had dissuaded me or been very tough with me, I would not have probably continued like this.
You know, this is what Sadhika and I were talking about yesterday, discussing about you, that how does she speak so flawlessly? It's almost mechanical. She's so good. I have never heard of humble, maybe once or twice, but I've never. And we aspire to be that flawless. So was it that experience that helped you, groom your speech the way?
I used to write down what I'm doing wrong. And I used to write down the number of fumbles in every bulletin.
You would write down the number of fumbles?
Yes,
Wow.
because I wanted to minimize that. That was my first goal, and that goal stayed with me for a few years. And then I realized that you fumble when you're reading someone else's lines, when that is not your voice.
Fair.
So at some point I decided, and I became a morning anchor. And in the morning, there's limited supervision, so you can get away with a lot. So I thought I'll rewrite my stuff. And it was very liberating because then I knew what I had written.
Yeah.
I understood the story. I understood the cadence. I knew that where do I want to pause, what is the mood that I want to convey. So I think that worked very well. That is not to say that I've not had writers. I've had some amazing writers, but we worked together for so long. They understand me, they understand what kind of pauses I want, what kind of sentence structure and so on. So I think that is what has worked well for me, that knowing the subject well, knowing the lines well, that really helps.
Palki, would you say that you're hard on yourself?
Yes.
Does it help?
I think it drives me. I think I would say that I am a perfectionist. I don't like under-delivering on anything. I set myself tough goals, and that's what drives me. I think I am a hustler. I like to do a lot of things. If I don't have 3 extra things apart from my daily schedule, then I feel that I'm wasting my time. So, yeah.
You guys can connect and bond over that.
Yes.
I'm always so hard on myself, and sometimes it can be exhausting. So, how do you relieve yourself of that exertion that comes with it, the pressure that you inflict upon yourself?
I don't know if it's politically incorrect to say, but I think I thrive under pressure. Okay. It works for me. But I also work out. That gives me, that keeps me anchored. And I meditate every day before I go off to sleep. And that's I'm not very, I've been doing it for years, but I've not sort of
mastered the art
mastered it. I cannot give anyone tips on meditation, but what it makes me do or helps me do is reflect on my day. Understand where I faltered. Why did I react to a certain situation the way I did? So even if it's a 10-minute exercise, I think it's an exercise that has helped me better understand myself. And I think it's very important to understand and accept who you are. You can only build from there. If you're not comfortable with yourself, then you have to ask yourself that, is this an aspect of me that I can change?
Yeah.
If I can, then I should work towards it. If I cannot, then I should just make peace with it and move on. So that's an exercise that I have been doing for a few years, and I recommend it to everyone.
No, I completely relate with that, because there was a point last year, I think I was having some temper issues and I started working out, and I would inevitably schedule some of my calls with my juniors post my workout, because I just knew that I would have a better temperament to deal with them.
Dopamine.
Yeah, so I do stand by your advice as well, that working out, getting to know yourself better, calming yourself, meditation, it really does help. But you just mentioned that you were a morning anchor. So after Doordarshan there was Hindustan Times, and then before WION and First Post there was CNN, IBN.
Yes.
I think you would do the morning bulletin. What was life like back then? I assume it was different.
Amazing. It was amazing. I think that was one of the best phases of my career, because I would sleep early. I was raised in a family where, for years my father woke me up at 4 a.m.
Wow.
It felt like a punishment, but it was great training. And he said you have to get up early, even if you're just reading a novel. Just get up early because that's the time your mind soaks in a lot. And I tried to tell him that mine doesn't. But he wouldn't take no for an answer, so yeah. So I was an early riser, and for this morning show, my first bulletin would be on alternate days 6 and 7 a.m.
Wow.
So I had to be in office by 4:30, 4:30.
When would you wake up?
3. I used to live 10 minutes away from work, so yeah. But I used to be done by noon.
That's
and
nice.
then I could take a nap, I could do yoga, I could read. I did a lot of reading in those years. I mean, I still read, but I can't read at a stretch. There are too many distractions and too many things and people demanding my attention. But that was a great time. I think I was very healthy. I was leading a good. Also, like I said in the morning, the bosses don't appear. So that's a great time to learn, because if there's breaking news, you're always thrown at the deep end.
Yeah.
And you have to figure it out. And it's a younger team in the morning. It's a team effort. I did it for many years. I think until my first child was born, when it became a little impractical for me to continue doing that. But that was a great time.
Were your parents strict? I'd love to know that.
Yes and
4
no.
a.m. strict, huh?
Yes and no, I would say. Yes, in the sense that we had unspoken rule was that at 7 p.m. when the street lights are on, you should come back home.
Oh.
So that.
But was it the same for you and your brother?
More or less.
Okay.
I don't think that they differentiated like that. And we are a very family-oriented bunch. We have a big family. So we learned adjustment very early. And I think that also made us emotionally intelligent, because you know how to balance egos and expectations and, So I think that was... But on the other hand, my parents also gave me the best education they could, more than they could afford at times. They gave me a value system that has helped me. And they never stopped me from exploring things that I truly believed in. I mean, even as a journalist, when I came for the first time to Delhi, I'm sure there was trepidation, I'm sure there were concerns. For a middle class family, it's tough to send your child out in a bigger city with very little support.
It's also intimidating because you don't know.
You don't know what the system is like. And the first, in fact, before CNN IBN, there used to be a channel called South Asia World, which was also part of the same network. And until we launched CNN IBN, I was told that maybe you could do something here. And this was for the Western audience. So my show used to be at 1 a.m.
Wow.
And it felt like liberation initially. But my parents were very worried. And for years, the rule was that if you take a cab or an auto, you have to text us the number. And even now, I mean, I have to message my mother every day that I'm back home.
That is sweet.
Yeah, because she gets worked up and she thinks that it's not a safe world.
That's so sweet. Like, mothers really are mothers throughout their lives, no matter how big their child gets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, in one of your reportings, you said that gender equality is 300 years away.
That's something that the UN has said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are some women who say that they don't believe in feminism. Where do you think is the disconnect? Because these are two very contradictory, statements.
See, we should not confuse feminism with this whole extreme, brow-burning, men are all bad feminism. I think there has to be moderation in everything. It's very important to stand up for your rights, to speak for yourself. But you can do it without alienating or villainizing the other side all the time. I mean, I know men who are feminists and who are champions of women's rights, and for women to succeed and achieve parity, we need allies on all sides.
Yeah.
right? So I think it's important to first of all understand that feminism is not an anti-men movement or effort. It's about securing equal rights for women.
Yeah.
And there is absolutely nothing wrong in it. I mean, we are half the world's population. We should get our due.
Yeah.
And it's long overdue. So I think it's got a bad rep in that sense, and a lot of women think that that it's unnecessary. And this is controversial again, and I spoke about it a few years back. That all the women who say that I started work but I left because of X, Y. It's never easy for women. It's tougher for women than men. But that's not a choice for you to make, because so many women before you fought very hard to make sure that you could go to school and college, to make sure that you could choose the career that you wanted. And tomorrow when my daughter goes to work, I want her to find a workplace which has women in the boardroom, where there are women in the leadership team. And I will have to do my bit there. Women in all walks of life will have to do their bit so that when their children grow up, they find a more equal world. So I think it's very important for women and men to both espouse the basic idea of feminism, that this is a quest for equality and not an attempt to push the other side.
Right. And funny question, but what do you have to say to people who equate gender equality with things like, if women want equality, then men shouldn't be expected to hold the door for them or carry their bags?
I agree with that. Okay. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I know that some people think that it's charming, but no.
No? So what is your definition of chivalry then?
To treat the other as an equal, and that's a big problem in our society, I suppose, across the world, that women are either put on a pedestal or treated as a segment beneath men. It's easier to do these two. It's much harder to treat them as equals. So I think that is my idea of chivalry. Can you treat me as an equal and take it from there?
Have you ever been put off when somebody has opened the door for you, or?
Nobody has opened the door for me, as it turns out. No. No. And I don't like being fussed over in general. I like to do most things myself. When I have the time, I also want to cook my own food. So I don't like the idea of people opening doors or getting things for me. And as it happens, it hasn't been done. So I'm not missing anything.
I'm very curious to know if nobody's held the door for you, or it probably makes you feel uncomfortable and you want to do things yourself. Then what is your idea of romanticism? What's your idea of romance?
I'm not a very romantic person. My idea of I would say, okay, I'll tell you what I enjoy.
Okay.
I enjoy an intelligent conversation. I enjoy, I like people who are witty, who are open, who are passionate about something. It could be anything. So I think those are the
qualities that
I like. Yeah.
Quite interesting. Since you've already mentioned that nobody's asked you this before, I feel like asking the internet's most loved question right now, and it is, who do you think should pay on the first date?
You should go Dutch.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is there a reasoning, logic behind it?
If you're talking about equality, we should push for equality in every aspect. I mean, between friends, it's okay. One day you pay, one day I pay. That's another thing. But I don't think the onus should be on one party.
Fair. Have you always Dutched?
More or less.
Yeah?
Or insisted on paying.
Okay. That's sweet.
Okay. Another very interesting question, age old. Do you think a guy and a girl can be friends?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of men also podcast, and they always almost agree that no, we can't be friends. If you're
Maybe
very
that's
close.
how men are wired.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for them, friendship is a consolation prize. So, you know, if it
Friend
all...
zoned, yeah,
Friend
that's where it
zone,
comes
yeah.
from.
I was sitting with this one comedian and he asked me this question. He's like, do you think a man and a woman can be friends? And I said that, you know, maybe if they're friends for a long time or if they're both in a relationship, I think it just eases the tension in the room. And he said that I think they can be friends only if the girl says no. So that was a different perspective for me.
Yeah. I think, actually, I have very few people I call friends.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have people who are associates, who I know professionally and personally. But people I can confide in, people I can speak to without thinking twice are very few. But both men and women.
Are they your childhood friends?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But to befriend somebody, I have to also respect them. I have to respect their point of view and what they've done and what they stand for. So, yeah, I have few friends, but as I see it, I think men and women can be friends without...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, recently I was reading an article in the New York Times and it was talking about, so it was juxtaposing how dating had been in the West and now how dating has taken shape in India. For example, for a lot of people out there, when they set out to find love, they have an entire checklist. Okay, that checklist could vary from what is he earning, what is his height, is he hygienic, and you know, XYZ things. It could be anything. Is he in business, is he in service? And now one new thing that has entered the checklist is political ideologies. So, you know, the question that arises out of this is that how important do you think is aligning politically with your partner for the success of a relationship? Because in the US or in the West for that matter, a lot of people, you know, like they would be very upfront and just put it in their dating bios on dating apps that, you know, they lean towards either side. And here I think it's a recent phenomena, but it's sort of catching on.
It's interesting. When two people begin to live together and political ideology or tastes, or these are all extensions of that, no two people are totally alike. Every relationship demands adjustment. Every relationship demands empathy and understanding. You have to try and put yourself in the other person's shoes and understand where they're coming from. I think it's important that there is space for an open conversation, that there is the maturity to accept the differences and to ensure as far as possible that those differences do not turn into disagreements. And that is the same category I would call, I would put political ideology in. It's absolutely okay to, forget a relationship like that. Me and my brother, brought up in the same family, raised with the same values, have very different approach to certain things, have very different views on certain things and the way we would engage with people. And yet we remain very close. So that's because I understand who he is. I may not always agree with him, but I understand where he's coming from. And I have the freedom and the confidence to be able to express my disagreement without inviting a backlash. I think that is what a strong partnership is based on, because as you proceed in life, when you have children, how do you raise children? What should they be eating? Should they be eating junk food once a week or twice a week? Should they be watching the cartoon 2 hours a day or 20 minutes a day or not at all? I mean, these are all questions that will pop up and there will be a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
So political ideology is one thing, but I think it's important to find a partner, or if you don't find one, then train one who will accept that sometimes we'll go my way, sometimes we'll go your way, and we'll make collective decisions.
Yeah.
I like the training bit.
Yes.
More doable.
You always have to train.
No, definitely. I have a question for you. What do you value more, being understood or being loved?
Being understood.
Yeah.
I think love stems from there. Love stems from respect. Love stems from understanding. That is way more important for me.
Have you ever felt misunderstood?
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Not so much in the deep, the very close relationships, because there I can just throw a fit and say, you're not getting this. But in general, I think people, and I'm old enough to accept that I don't have to convince everyone. It's okay. I mean, social media is a cesspool of toxicity, and I don't have to bother with that.
Wow,
You know, speaking of social media, you're so famous and you have such a huge following. I'm sure your DMs would be flooded. So what is the funniest DM you've ever received?
I don't know.
Do you check your DMs?
Sometimes it's good fun, like
Yeah,
you know, the
sometimes it
YouTube
is.
chat.
Yeah.
It's a different universe. Like you know, we're talking about something very serious, like you know, this country is going to go to war with X country, and someone on YouTube chat is saying, "Oh, where were you yesterday? I'd gone out to buy dinner," or something like completely random stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know what kind of DMs. Funny DMs. I can't think of something, I'm sorry, but I get all kinds of things.
But I'm sure there are many men who flirt with you, because I just told somebody that, you know, I'm going to be interviewing Palki and I'm so excited for it. And she's like, oh, you know, she's the national crush right now. So
funny, yeah. But
and there are legit Reddit threads dedicated to how good looking you are.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't follow Reddit that much.
I think it's better that you don't, because it's,
Wow.
it'll traumatize you.
Oh, okay.
But some of them are very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically NSFW stuff, but some of it is very flattering.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
But I always marvel at the confidence of men who write to me saying, I am ready to marry you now. Like, hello, thank you very much.
Yeah, that does
that's there.
happen. Fair enough.
Interesting. So, okay, we've talked about friendship, we've talked about love, your idea of romance, but I cannot help but notice that your skin glows. So, what is your skincare routine? Do you have one?
I'll tell you the things I use. I'm a big fan of Nariyal Tel.
Okay.
I know it's not, again, a very fashionable or cool, like the old blue bottle.
Yeah,
I use
parachute
it.
oil.
Yes, I used to take it off makeup. I just think it's the best thing. I use Cetaphil, which is a Medicaid.
Yes.
Recommended by dermatologists. I think good sleep is very important, and you know the regular stuff. I try to eat home cooked food as much as possible because I genuinely like it. So I think a lot of your whatever skin and hair and whatever it is, it comes from what you consume, and I'm not a big fan of those 20-step, 10-step things, and I get sent a lot of these things all the time, and my daughter sort of experiments with them, but I think it's just too risky, so no.
And I assume you wouldn't have the time.
Exactly, with your schedule, I don't think you'll have the time to
I-
sit for red light therapy and all.
No, and I did go to some dermatologist, and I'm like, I barely have the time to bathe. I can't put these 20 creams. So I'm fairly old school that way. Maybe basin once in a month. Yeah.
All nice tips, all tips that we've heard.
The
growing
classic
up.
ones.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be sitting and giving skincare advice, I think.
I'm sure many would be very
And good
interested
concealer.
to know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that helps. Yeah, fair enough. So, Palki, you come across as this super confident woman. You're a formidable journalist. But do you too, like most of us, have days where your fears get the better of you, or you sort of get a little, I don't know, you just get a little nervous? Do you have those days as well?
Do you have insecurities?
Oh, all the time. And I have this, I'm a very serious case of the imposter syndrome. Like I wonder to myself, how did I get there? And was this luck? And how did this happen to me? And my go-to fix for that is to prepare. Like I should know what I'm going to do and what I'm going to say so well that if I have passed out, I can still say those lines.
You draw confidence from your preparation.
Yes, I think it really helps. The closer you are to the truth, the more comfortable you are. So try not to be someone else. That's been my mantra for a long time. But yes, I have my fears, I have my insecurities. Every time you go for a big interview, sometimes in another country, in another president's office, where you're going to, you're going to say or do something that is going to upset them. The tension is very palpable, right?
Yeah.
And
you could almost cut it with a knife.
Yes,
sometimes.
you can, and it's. I remember this one time, and I don't want to name the country, but this was a president who was who was more of a dictator and had these drug cases against him and like nothing good about him. And I had to interview him, and before the interview I tweeted something which was not flattering. And I got a call from my office, and my boss said that you are in their capital. You're going to be in his office. What were you thinking before tweeting this? So that was long back when I used to tweet. Now I don't get on Twitter unless I have to repost something or share something. But yeah, I was very worried. And very nervous that they might want to cancel the interview.
Or detain you.
Or no, detain. I don't know.
But
if
they wouldn't do that to a journalist.
I hope not. Yeah, but then you never know. People can be irrational.
Correct.
So I've had my.
So did that tweet make the conversation a little awkward?
I think he did not read it. Or maybe
that's
he was
good.
busy doing something else. Or maybe his team did and then did not have the courage to tell him that, this is what she has said about you just a couple of hours back and maybe you should revisit. But
fair. That's good save.
I got away with it.
Yeah. Would love to know when was the last time you felt anxious?
See, I'm just like everyone else. I feel anxious all the time. I have a big launch coming up. I left a very comfortable job to launch a company. At a time when, this has to be one of the most questionable decisions, a media company in 2026, at a time when everything's going haywire and the media has zero credibility and so on and so forth. So for me to have built a newsroom and it was a difficult period. I remember calling my doctor and saying that I thought I had a superpower. I could sleep anytime, anywhere, for any duration. I was very blessed.
Wow.
And I said, now for the past few months, I've not been able to sleep. So would you recommend something? And she's like, बच्चे गायत्री मंत्र का जाप करो रात को तेल लगा के सो जाओ. So that was that. But I've had it's been rewarding, but it's been very stressful.
Absolutely, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So how do you handle the anxiety and the success? Because you've both.
Beyond the Gayatri Mantra, of course.
I discuss it with the people around me. And I have a great support system. And I have people in my life who understand the unique challenges that a media job presents. So I think the advice is much appreciated. The advice is well informed. That's what I lean on. When you're feeling low, and I have a lot of those moments. I just like to talk to people who will truly understand me, who will understand where I'm coming from. And increasingly, I feel that anything that you say, I speak at a lot of events, and a lot of times people tell me that this is closed door. And I tell them that in any conversation where someone's sitting with a smartphone, there is nothing called closed door.
Correct.
I always speak with the assumption that this will get out somewhere. So then those spaces where you can truly be yourself all the time without having to think that should I have used another word, become very special. So I really cherish and value those conversations and those periods, and I have extensive, I discuss what I'm doing so much that if you were to ask my son, how did I come to the decision of blue color for IGR, he would probably tell you the backstory.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm always talking about these things at home. And my children sometimes, they're both teenagers and they throw great advice. And they're so chill about everything. It's very inspiring to be around them sometimes. And to, I suppose you have to soak in the positive aspects of your life.
Absolutely. Do your kids ever introduce you to Gen Z lingo?
I sometimes, use words and they're like, please don't do this. You're embarrassing yourself and us, I heard them say a word called poggers a couple of years back. And they're like, don't say it ever again. And then I went on air and I said something about Dilulu is the only Sululu. Why are you doing this? So no, they don't. In fact, they're like, please behave your age and don't try to talk like that.
No, I understand that. I say that to my boss all the time because I think he also tries to say a couple of things that just don't land, and I'm like, cut it out. But do you ever have trouble understanding the language that they're using? Like, do they ever use words like monger or sus?
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. But so I ask them, and they have very eclectic tastes in that sense. And sometimes they explain to me, like when they're playing, and they're both avid video game players. I don't get what's going on, but I try to sit there and just try and understand. But no, I don't always follow.
Fair enough, you and us both.
Oh,
but
okay.
you've spent 20 years, you've spent almost 2 decades working in this industry, and I'm sure that you've had so much to learn. There's this one thing that a lot of women who watch our channel also, they often struggle with, because we keep doing these ask me anythings, and we keep asking them to send in questions that we can ask to relevant women. And one question has always been that a lot of people find it very difficult to negotiate in workspaces. A lot of women find it very difficult to negotiate, because if there's one trend that is observed is that men are very quick and bold in making claims, and women often undersell themselves at the table. So in your own career, have you been good at negotiating?
I think I can keep a straight face and lay my expectations on the table.
You're making a living out of it.
I do that because I think that you have to ask for your value.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then the other person does not think you're polite. The other person thinks that you are not confident. And it's always, because what's the point in expecting something and then hoping that someone will recognize your talent and reward you for it? It doesn't happen, So, and if it doesn't work out, then I would move on. Because I give, everywhere I worked with the belief that this is mine and I need to excel at this. So if I'm giving my 200%, then I expect that recognition, and I think that your salary is a form of that recognition. And it's important to, sometimes, what happens, now that I lead teams, it's not possible to engage closely with every team member.
Yeah.
And as much as you would want to recognize everyone's contribution, and you get drawn in different directions, sometimes you've not had the time, sometimes you've not had the face time with that person enough. It is a possibility that they don't know what you want.
Yeah.
So the question that I used to hate long back, where do you see yourselves 5 years from now?
I've never known the answer to that question, honestly.
But you know what? I think that not in the same format, but you have to ask people, so what do you want to do next?
Yeah.
Because you may be, for instance, a video editor, but you want to evolve into someone else. You just entered the industry thinking that you're good at this. It's important for me to ask. I may not always be able to give you what you're asking, but at least I know your expectation. So I think that we owe it to ourselves and to our company to have an honest conversation. What's the worst thing that will happen? They'll say, no, it won't work, which is fine. Then you figure out what's the best that you want. Do you want to stay here and push for it again, or do you want to do something else? Yeah. But unless you ask, you cannot blame the other person for not giving it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what they say, you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would love to talk more about women and money. So, I've noticed that most times financial independence for women reduces to the ability to give yourself retail therapy or buy brunch with your girlfriends. But if you had to define financial independence for women, what would it be?
You should have an investment that you can lean on. Women should, I think financial literacy is a life skill. Like you're taught how to ride a bicycle, like you're taught how to make a cup of tea or a paratha or whatever it is that you eat. You should know how to manage your money. And I'm still not good at it, but I try to learn. So I think it's very important for women to have an investment. We are not in a good place. I was looking at statistics related to India. If it comes to land ownership, for instance, less than 30% of land ownership is with women. Yeah. Women don't own property. Women don't own land. Women do not,
inherit also.
Inherit and do not invest.
Yeah.
Yeah, most women don't.
Right? So that needs to change. And that change will come from you. And I doubt anyone will say, why are you doing this? It's just that you can't say, I don't get this stuff. And someone else will do it. You will have to take the onus on yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, financial independence begins with building that cushion. I think a lot of women, maybe not in this generation, but in previous generations, remained trapped in bad marriages because they had no out.
Correct.
And I'm not saying that financial independence, a corollary of that should be divorces. No, that's not my idea. My idea is that you should have a choice. And you will have to build that choice. It will not be given to you on a platter.
Yeah.
I was reading that a large portion of earning women till date do not have complete control over their bank accounts, and they largely depend on the male figures in their family to handle their finances. And what would you say about that? Do you think that's financially wise?
I think it's best to know whether you still want to manage it, or very rich men use wealth managers.
Yeah.
Who are better qualified and better informed than them. But you should know. You should understand. I think that's very important. If you have someone in your family, and we understand largely whether this person is doing it because they want to limit my access or whether they're doing it because they mean well.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a thumb rule, but you should take informed decisions. And if someone else is taking a decision on your behalf or supporting you in that, it's absolutely okay to ask, why are we doing this? So that, again, you're aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe in destiny?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think you have to build it. You have to make it. You can. I think that that when you dream about something and you really want it, then you also start working towards it. There is no such thing as people being lucky. When opportunity knocks and you're not ready for it, then you will fail.
Yeah.
So whether you get the opportunity or not is not in your hand, but what you do with it is totally in your hand.
Yeah.
So yes, destiny does play a part, but there is no alternative to hard work.
Right. You know what they say, that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So,
Yes.
when the opportunity comes knocking, you have to be prepared otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I heard you quote the Gita, and the quote was that the obstacle is the path.
Yes.
It's something you live by.
Yes.
And I too personally feel that the Gita is a religious textbook, but at the same time, it's also a guide to life.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So, any other life principles that you have derived from the Gita?
You know what, the Gita, there's something called the Gita Sar. There are 6 or 7 lines. And they seem deceptively simple. And that's the thing with most proverbs and most powerful sayings. Like, time is money. I remember as a child making posters with these words. And I thought, well, what?
Yeah.
But as I grow older, I realize that time truly is money.
Yes.
So the most profound truths in life are the simplest things. And we just this is experience, this is growing up, this is maturity. When you truly begin understanding the meaning of those words. And I want to add here that this doesn't happen anymore, and it's unfortunate. When we were in school, we were expected to memorize poems, like learn them by heart.
Yeah.
And I used to think that, why are we doing this? And I'm learning a poem about daffodils, and I've not seen daffodils, and skylark and whatever. But now, as an adult, some of those verses make so much sense to me, and I think that's the whole beauty of verse and poetry and art, for that matter. That there will be instances in life when something will come back to you, and it's like that penny drop moment. You'll think that, okay, this is what it meant.
Yeah.
So that's for the Gita too. The Gita is, of course, a very, very powerful and very deep text. But yes, it talks about making effort and not not worrying about the results.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's, again, very important, though I do worry myself sick about how this is going to turn out. But I try to emulate a lot of those things.
You know, I'd love to know your perspective on, and you know, you just said, it was on my mind that I have to ask you this next, that on one side the Gita says, karm karo, phal ki chinta mat karo. And then we just talked about how if you want something, you have to go ask for it. How would you balance the two in your life? And maybe that's something that we can draw from.
The asking for it is the karma. Right.
Oh, that's
That is
interesting.
so fresh.
Yeah.
No?
That's
and
interesting.
well, if you don't get, so phal ki chinta na karna, or is it's phal actually, phal ki chinta na karna, matlab you don't have to worry about whether the other person is going to say yes or no. You have to do your bit. Then you see the result and then act on it. So if you start worrying about what may happen and not do it at all, you will never know what is going to happen.
100%.
So I think the two things align.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of it that way.
Yeah,
So
you can
interesting.
clock it.
Yeah.
Do you know what is
Very, very
clocking
Gen
it?
Z.
No.
So we sit with some Gen
We
Z
can make
women
a
also.
try
We
it.
always learn from them. So we had.
You're not
Palak
Gen Z
Tiwari.
yourselves?
No, we're millennials.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
I again.
So we had a Gen Z. We had Palak Tiwari on the show, and she taught us clocking it. So it's like agreeing with something. So they're like a clap is too much.
Yeah.
So we'd be
So
just like,
apparently they
okay.
just do this.
Okay.
Do you want to try it?
I don't want to burn like 1/4 of a
Very
calorie.
off-brand.
Fair. But you know, right now when you were talking about reading poems and learning poems and you wouldn't even know what it meant, and later on in life they probably come back to you. Right when you were talking about it, a verse came back to me. It was from this poem called The Brook. And it had this one line, and it said that for men may come and men may go, but life goes on forever. And I just feel like maybe those are the kind of things
But
that,
I
you know,
go on
suddenly-
forever. So it's talking
Haan,
about
but,
itself.
haan,
Yeah.
but I go
Yeah.
on forever. So I think, yeah, just like a random thought.
Yeah.
Wait, you know, since you've been a reader and we're talking poems, top 5 books that you'd like to recommend that everybody should read?
Or every woman should read, actually.
More specific.
That's a very difficult question. I love so many books, so I don't know top 5. I would say start with the Mahabharata. So I'll tell you what shaped my reading, and I will not mention books, I'll mention authors. I discovered Jane Austen in middle school, and I totally loved.
Yeah.
It was so intelligent. It had these very strong-headed women who could judge society and live on their own terms, and then other women who were swept off their feet by what was happening around them. And I think it was quite good for its time. I have been very impressed with the writing of Ayn Rand, Fountainhead, Atlas
Yes.
Shrugged. Great books, I think. I totally love Gone with the Wind.
Oh,
I think the
Classic.
heroine is such a practical person, and at times treading this line of not being morally upright, but doing what needs to be done according to
grey.
her. And yeah, it's a little grey, but she took charge of her life.
yes.
And to that extent, I think it was a... I also read a lot of Thomas Hardy, but that was too dark, I think, for my age. So I wouldn't recommend that, maybe, or unless you want to read. So yeah, I suppose those are the broad. And I read a lot of feminist writing, a lot of women who are writing great things, and they can be very funny, and they can cock a snook at the world, and just sort of commiserate. And so it's, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I like. I like Japanese literature as well. Murakami, die-hard fan. I've read all his books.
Yeah.
So not 5 books, but yeah.
Which one did
broadly.
you like the best?
The best Murakami? The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle. It's not his top 4 or 5, but yeah, most people say Norwegian Wood because
Yeah.
it's
It's the most popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was his best.
Fair enough. Are you also a foodie?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do Palki's food recommendations.
I like whatever I cook and my mom cooks.
Okay, so what
That's
do you
my-
cook?
I cook everything, but the go-to things that my kids ask for all the time are pav bhaji, which I make once a week. Paneer, I make chola. Yeah, and a lot of regular Indian food. Pasta, I have to do pasta once a week.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't eat out at all?
I don't like it. I do sometimes. Like I can't make sushi. So I
That you've tried out.
or some of the places have good salads, so I like that. But I don't like very heavy food, you know. which
Nothing
is
that sits
just,
on the chest,
Yeah,
nothing oily.
it's too much.
Yeah.
And
Is that your secret to looking young?
I suppose
Yeah.
hope.
Do you also give yourself like certain challenges that, okay, I'm off sugar, I won't take sugar, I won't do this, I won't do that? Do you keep yourself in check like that?
I'm a Rajasthani. I'm never off sugar. Sugar and ghee are my go-to things. But I have tried all kinds of diets, and they have not agreed with me.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that I work so hard, and I need to eat what I want to eat.
Makes
Which is
sense.
usually, I don't like fried food a lot. I don't like heavy meals. So I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fair.
It's well earned.
Yeah.
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 So you recently went to Japan, if I'm not wrong.
I've been to Japan a few times. I went last year with my family.
Yeah.
How was it for you? What were the best places that you liked? And if you have to give, your best experiences from Japan, what would they be?
I thought Kyoto was unlike any other city I've been to. It's beautiful. I think Japan has a certain rhythm. People are truly respectful. They understand the concept of space.
Yeah.
They will stand in a queue. They will follow rules. It's unlike any other country. It's a different universe in a way. I love the food. I love Japanese food.
That makes sense. She just said sushi.
Sushi,
Yeah.
yes. And we went to Furano, which I thought was beautiful. The flower farms, and yeah, it was amazing. The saunas and the hot baths were great. The food was great. And I think any time spent with family is fun. Although the moment we took off, another war broke out, and I just, it took me some time to completely gear myself into holiday mode.
Yeah.
But it was totally worth it, I think. It's a great experience.
Actually, we gather that because we read one of your captions on one of your photos where you said that as somebody who voluntarily chains herself to work, I
Yeah.
think this was much needed.
Yeah.
So, do you have trouble separating the two? Do you have trouble compartmentalizing?
But I don't want to compartmentalize. I think work is a very important part of my life. That's something I signed up for. That's something I asked for. And I do have great colleagues who are very capable of taking decisions, and they do. And they veto me all the time. But I enjoy my work. I enjoy discussing stories. I enjoy putting things together. So I don't see work as different from life, this whole concept of work-life balance.
Yeah.
The two are enmeshed, and I want it that way, and I love it.
What is your plan? Speaking of work, and work is truly, like you're crazy about work, and that's great because it really resonates with us. What's your plan with IGR, and what kind of legacy would you like to leave behind?
Oh my God, legacy.
Yeah.
I'm
you're
not
so
close to
You're
retirement.
already halfway
Yeah.
there, we feel. Like in 20 years, you've left a very incredible blueprint for women like ourselves to sort of, look up to. And which is why you're so aspirational, and which is why we were nervous all along to, sit in front of you.
So sweet. No, I think that I would want more women to take the plunge and lead teams. And don't be shy, don't be afraid. Make your set of mistakes. We all make mistakes and we all learn. I've noticed something very interesting. The moment you promote a guy, he immediately starts talking about my team. But women are they're very shy. They can be very diffident. They can be sometimes too accommodating. Yeah, so I think it's okay to be reckless sometimes. It's okay to take risks. Even when we are raising children, we are telling girls to not get hurt,
Yeah.
and we are telling boys कि कोई रोता थोड़ी है बच्चा ऐसे. and you can go and jump. I think we need to encourage little girls to be reasonable rebels.
That's a nice word.
Yeah. So if I can sort of leave behind something, legacy is too heavy for me. It would be that it's totally worth your time to take the plunge and do what you've always wanted. And two, and this is something that I've said repeatedly, that we are such a big country and we don't have a voice internationally. So IGR, I think, is the beginning, and I hope there are many more and many big players. I don't have those resources, and I don't have the oil wells of Al Jazeera or the government money of the BBC. But I'm very passionate, and I genuinely want to tell India's story to the world. And that is not to say that everything is positive and hunky-dory. We have our problems, we have our challenges, but we also have our strengths. And we need to talk about them ourselves. So IGR is an effort in that direction. And thankfully, I've found a lot of like-minded people who share the vision. And it's great to work together. I don't know how far this will go, what we'll build eventually, but it's got a great start. We've just started a series called Bharat Bioscope, and the response has been stupendous. And the kind of things that people write, it's very encouraging. So I just want to build on that. I mean, I don't have a roadmap. I'm a big believer in trying things and seeing where it takes us. Of course, you have a broad sort of understanding of where you want to take your company, but I don't want to micromanage the future. I just feel that whatever I have in terms of a plan is the first draft, and that draft will be edited along the way. So yeah, that's what we want to do.
That was so nice. I've always felt that India needs more people to improve the soft power of the country, and it's so nice that people are working in that direction, and you apparently are the flag bearer of that. So thanks for inspiring. And just last question before you let you go. I know your time is very precious and you've given lots of it to us. If you had to give one advice to younger Palki,
what would that be? Turning into such an advice session. What is the advice that I would give? I would tell her to not worry about what people think or say. Just do your thing. And the people who truly love you and value you and care for you will always be there to hold you when you're falling. And the people who don't care about you do not matter. So it doesn't matter what they say. I think that's one of the many things I would tell her.
That's actually brilliant. And right now, when you were just talking about IGR, I just think that it is so beautiful, because I think in one of your interviews you'd mentioned that back in the day when you just started working somewhere, you wanted to probably report on international affairs and you were pitching that, and then your editor was urging you to do a Dandiya night story instead.
Yes.
So just to imagine from that girl who was being asked to do Dandiya nights to you launching your own venture and actually taking global news as your core expertise out to the world. I just feel like it's so beautiful. Do you think about the journey?
Yes, I think that was also great training, that you don't always get what you ask for, you have to earn it. You can't be cocky and you can't walk into someone's cabin and say, you know what, I want to write about the Iraq war. Yeah, right. First write about Dandiya nights. So that's great. I think if it happened in today's world, there would be a LinkedIn post about how toxic the newsroom is.
Yes.
But back in the day, we accepted our lot, and we truly believed in earning our place. So I did a lot of those things. I did all kinds of fashion-related stories, and I did film reviews and things I had absolutely no understanding of. And I said, I don't watch films, so how do I review a film? And I was told, so you don't have baggage. Go watch a film and tell us what you think about it. And I did. For months. So yeah, it was training. Wow. You are given a story, you have to write it.
I feel like going back in time and then reading some of her older work. So probably I'll do that today. Let me watch it. But thank you so much, Palki. You've been an incredible guest. I hope that this conversation was or a little bit interesting for you as well. But thank you so much.
It was much more fun than I thought it would
Yeah?
be. Yes. It was lovely talking to both of you.
Good win for us.
Yeah.
Yes.